So, all right. So look, after the last 3 years of going through so much evolution, losing my hair changing color, having to get it cut so it doesn't look so straggly and so uneven. The last 3 years of going through all this crazy pain and suffering, and it is a pain and suffering, and eating all food in the food supply, meat, milk, cheese, eggs, whatever, and pulling out the crap, yes, okay, blowing my nose, coughing and sneezing, tolerating the rashes, tolerating just the suffering of going through an evolution. Okay, I have not only mental clarity, I could see through all the bullshit, I could even point things out. And I really don't have any fears of what's going on because those are gone. It's just now survival and documenting my survival so others can figure out if it's something that they can embrace and even try on and maybe even do. So it reminds me of the times when I was at home calling in sick on a Monday after being out and about, not even being drunk on the weekend, but just being out and about in different areas. And then that's the time of the month that the body was going through an energy conversion. It's going through an evolution, because when different microbes in my world, when different microbes are introduced, and I have a sensitive immune system because of so many different things, probably because of deficiencies and being so skinny. When you're so skinny, either you'll be so cured and then die suddenly, or they'll take on microbes and it will cause an immunological type of situation. You might have defense mechanisms like an immune system, but then there's other factors that come into play and get triggered during certain times of the month. For women, it is their menses. It is that egg drop and then waiting for it to be fertilized. And so there's a lot of different behaviors behind that. So anyways, the last couple days, feeling those aggressive pains in the arms that were like, it was like a dull ache, but you know, whatever I had to do to deal with, manage it. It reminded me of just staying home, eating spaghetti, watching Netflix, watching movies, and just staying away from the world and being highly aggressive. Though back then the environment was not that aggressive. I might have hung out with an aggressive crowd, maybe, or go to bars and clubs and hang out with people, but whatever I was dealing with was aggressive relative to the time. Now, with energy, frequency, particle acceleration, climate change, whatever was within my immune system back then might still reside in me today, that I'm going through the process of releasing, and it is a progressive process. And so who knows how long it's going to take. And if the next climate change is either going to bring up stuff or catalyze new stuff that I've been exposed to because of diverse company. So anyways, yeah, so I've been definitely feeling the effects, but I also see how my hair and my skin and my nails and how I feel and everything, I'm in this euphoric, but still, there's still a little bit of pain, you know, in my arms, a little bit of a dull ache, but nothing crazy. And I was a little bit exhausted last night and having to release demons at least twice in a day. But yeah, you know, we're in a new world now. We're literally in a new world. And this transition that we're in, it's a dangerous time for almost everybody. For everybody, actually. Not almost, it's for everybody. Just some don't realize the danger they're in because they're so insulated until the environment changes them. But yeah. And I have a feeling a lot of people are not going to be able to handle my information. I have a feeling that's going to be the case. And that's okay because, you know, everybody's meant to evolve with each other. And if you have the presence of mind and the understanding of boundaries, please block me. please block me. Because you have the choice to entertain this information or not. You have the choice. And so I wrote something today to kind of bring things of what I said the last few days since the last transmission of yesterday together. Because this will accelerate evolution in my world. But I said, every evolution and upgrade, sickness, I feel amazing with clarity of thought and new ideas and freedom of thought. Not freedom from thought, but freedom of thought. I'm allowed to develop new ideas through the written word. I'm allowed to express pain and frustration through the written word. I don't go out and punch someone out. I don't go and try to silence anyone else. I don't do any gene silencing. I'm not a drug to anyone. I don't want to be a drug to anyone. I don't want to silence whatever pain and suffering you have. I'm not a drug to anyone. I need to live. I want to live. And you can choose to silence me through blocking me or go get a drug and silence whatever. But I need to be life and I need to express the life within. And so I remember friends and family would think I was bipolar because I would have to retreat to my room, apartment, or be by myself so I can get through the evolutionary symptoms so frowned upon in our society. Yes, it was depressing having to take a break from the fast-moving society I lived in who expected me to perform at a drop of a hat and take part in the craziness called life in California. Parties, work, helping people, studying, preparing, partying. People hate it when you need to take time on your own, especially if they depend on you for company or entertainment, money, and productivity. So when I finally emerged from my cave of sorts, after sleeping, eating, and resting, acting a little aggressive, I felt extremely euphoric, like I just conquered the world. Kind of like a biophysical reborn feeling, and then I set out to accomplish so much in the 2 weeks I had until the next PMDD episode had to occur, and it was the same all over again. And that was what I dealt with for at least 20 years, I would say. And that has its own pain and suffering ever since at least 1999. I remember the first episode where I felt like my hormones, the estrogen, was just way overabundant. Yeah, I was cute. Yes, in 1999. And I was fucking whacked out. And that's when everything started happening. It was just crazy. So I didn't get a lot of time to be relatively balanced. I was just Ricochet Rabbit doing what I was doing. And then one day those hormones caught up with me. And then that's when the beast was on the move. And it became the demon within that I had to figure out how to regulate and control through so many different means that then I had to then finally release the last 7 years. Okay? So that was the evolution happening every month because of not only hormones going nuts or too estrogenic, but also the body was pushing out the demons per se and rebuilding again. And that was the reason why I felt euphoric. Because yeah, I was eating spaghetti, top ramen. I was eating some of the latest yummy Greek food that was in my town. And I would sit and eat and just be so happy eating. And then I'd be watching my movies. And it was just like my time on my own. It was my own little respite from the world. It was my way to take a break. Take a little vacation from everybody's expectations. Since I don't know how many demons of viruses from my whole life and genes I hold inside, I expect that each change in climate will either wake up the new ones from public exposure or wake up the deeply embedded ones from who knows where they came from. So every aggressive climate change each week or each change in the season, I expect to feel arm pain or whatever else. I guess. The mystery is I have no idea if the viruses are residual disease from years past or newly acquired through the environment. However, I do not get the stiff neck anymore. But my meninges, back of my neck, does get a little swollen during the aggressive particle acceleration, but no more stiffness like a few years ago. So when my dog was dying and I was trying to figure out how to keep her alive while she was sort of like, immobile, I'm sure I took on microbes that got into my body, that got in through my body, and then, that was when I felt sick with the stiffness of the neck. So I'm sure her microbes came in and took over. And I still feel it. My husband feels it in the back of my neck. He thinks it's because I'm staying indoors a lot and just sleeping on my back. No, it's from viral infections and whatever else is going on. But I don't have any more stiffness. I can go like this, right? And I don't have any weird involuntary movements, but I go like this. But, I mean, the range of motion is kind of trippy. Like, there is a difference. I can feel the pull in the back sometimes. People say, oh, it could be meningitis. I mean, shit, lymphedema, meningitis, all these things that people hold inside. It has to progressively work its way out. And yeah, you're going to feel back pain. You're going to feel arm pain. You're going to have a limited range of motion. You're going to feel the pull in your arms. You're going to have, I mean, even just reaching for stuff. Before I could reach it, but then when the climate changes and things wake up, then the range of motion, my reach is not as extended. It's like, oh, that hurts. Okay, but that's okay. That's just part of how shit works. I'm not treating it. I'm not trying to cure myself. I'm sitting with the pain, sitting with the suffering, feeding it because I know I can handle it. So that to me is an improvement, which means to me that I am improving slowly but surely. I also do not get the aggressive back pain, only that dull ache when the body is pushing stuff out. And each time I blow my nose early in the morning, I also leverage my lower immune system to push out stuff too. So when I start sneezing a lot, which happened a couple, like yesterday or the day before, I started sneezing so much, and I know my body's pushing the poop through the system. That's a force through sneezing to get the poop into the lower part of the immune system so it can release, because that's what's plaguing people, is the fact that they're so full of shit that only the body allows a little bit out through whenever it has to. But people don't have a strong immune system to actually leverage that out. So that's why they have to get operations to remove, bowel obstructions. They have bowel perforations. They have other bowel issues because they don't know how to strengthen the upper and lower immune system to push out everything. And that's why I blow my nose. That's why I cough and I sneeze and I eat food. And whenever I eat, it also activates the immune system to push things out. And so I post pictures and even Facebook reel montage of me celebrating that I survived yet another disease and on the mend. And here's what I look like during that time. I know before and during my sickness of sorts, I look swollen. I'm stoic, sullen, highly aggressive like I was last few days. But then after eating, resting, sleeping, and releasing demons, everything is back to normal. And my sleep patterns are back to normal and I feel more relaxed. I mean, I did go to bed around 10 last night, but I was starting to feel tired around that time. But even then, it's still, I felt a little exhausted, like my body went through a lot of energy. The reason why people go on hormone replacement drugs like metformin or other HRT drugs is because a person is starving. They're staying away from meat, milk, cheese, eggs, and all that stuff. They have less sugar, less salt, less everything. Thus not producing the hormones needed to survive. So it becomes an endless loop. When you are starving yourself of food because you're afraid to feel a heart attack or a stroke, it's going to happen eventually, and you will not be prepared to survive it. You're going to have to deal with it at some point. But if you preempt it because you understand the need for food and everything else, and you're okay with it, and you tell people around you that this is what you're doing, and and you think you trust that you'll survive it. I mean, I can't tell people what to eat, I can't tell people if they should feel a heart attack or a stroke, but that's the reasoning behind why it is that those are on metformin, on blood pressure medication, staying away from salt and sugar and things like that, because they don't want to activate their immune system to cause a heart attack, which is why then they're on drugs to suppress their immune system, on all types of drugs, and to force the body to produce insulin or other things, oxytocin, serotonin, dopamine. And so when you're on those type of drugs like cannabis and metformin and different, antibiotics and different hormone replacement therapy, then when they're holding those clots inside their blood vessels and their bloodstream, and then the ionic energy outside of their control kicks up a notch, died suddenly. And so, however, when people are mitigating food because of fear of symptoms like heart attacks and strokes, not only are they not conditioning for sudden events such as those, you cannot avoid blood clots if you have them from genes or newly acquired, but they are also depleting their body of the necessary resources such as insulin to regulate their blood sugars, and their avoidance of salt doesn't allow their cells to purify and bring together their organs, thus they fall apart. So every major energy conversion I feel and survive and conquer, I feel on top of the world, and I want to immortalize it with Facebook Reels, with 50 pictures of myself, with new grown hair and smooth skin and clear eyes. I also develop new ideas from the new growth and sitting with the painful energy because it exercises my brain to make faster connections. The brain. Every single time you get a surgery or smoke that pot, you deplete potential new neural pathways. There's no fucking way you can survive when you keep depleting your body of memories and food. There's no way you can fucking survive and you don't take time for yourself. If you don't take time for yourself. If you have to be the hero to everyone and have so many people around you, they will eat you alive. If you have to entertain so many people, places, and things, the world will eat you alive. If you must be worshipped by everyone, you will be the human sacrifice, and everyone gets an organ and a body part donated by you. Yes, immortality is possible if you can handle the energy conversion, the lifestyle, and change. Kids today have parents who are in denial, and so it will be impossible for these kids to grow up strong if their parents do not wake up and realize the environment and particle acceleration will condition them to survive climate change and make them strong. So as long as the kids rest, release, and take it easy. Kids need to feed their brain with so much literature, words, and food, and sleep, and rest, and numbers. This is not 1985 all about the body. So 1985, you had Brooke Shields and Twiggy from way back when, and you had, Cindy Crawford, and everyone's all about the body, and then the athletes and the Olympics, and then all the sexual orientation. This is 2024, and the brain is what is being exercised, and less sun, because the sun is still amplified. And symptoms are like running a marathon. Shit, my arms felt like it was lifted weights because it had to feel that pain of it expanding and contracting because of whatever it needed to do to push things through my lymphatic system. My arms did hurt a few days ago, but now they feel strong and solid, like I lifted weights, okay, without going to the gym. And so, yeah, this is my arm. You don't see, it's not jelly. You see some women that have such jelly under, right? It's like you can just like chicken fat. Yeah, that's gelatinous. That's when the body is being consumed by all the different lymphocytes and monocytes, leukocytes, B cells, the T cells, right? Yeah. It's a different world now. Wake up. So let me leave these last parting words for you in this post. Every visit to the doctor and herbalist or taking away your symptoms, you become less intelligent. You become less adaptive. You become more dependent on friends and family, and you become more narrow in your beliefs. Narrower in your beliefs. So that's why I can't hang out with anybody, because of what I'm saying on Facebook. I mean, I could, but I know in the back of my mind, Jillian thinks I'm stupid. Jillian thinks I'm this. I already know, but how? You got to have a thought. You got to be able to speak your mind and change the way things are done, or else nobody would be able to have another option out there. So if I have to kind of stay home because I don't know what people are thinking, why does it matter? Because then let me tell you, hanging out with people when they know that someone could take what you're saying as an insult to their lifestyle and belief system. Would you feel comfortable hanging out with people when they know what you feel about the world and how you want to change it from what it is? You can't. I mean, you could, but then what? It's all fake, right? Everyone's being fake. Who wants to live in that situation? Who wants to be fake? But then, Jillian, you're saying that you're caring about what they think. Well, it's not even that. I mean, people think what they think, but what are you hanging out with them for? What are you going to talk about with these people? I would love to talk about deep-seated issues of shit that's going on in this world. I would love to. Most people can't even talk about that. People that I can talk about, they live 6,000 miles away. They live fucking in other countries. They live so far away that the only way I talk to them is through Facebook. And even then, it's like, okay, how much you can talk about that? Because you already know, you read each other's Facebook. So when you hang out with people, then not only are your microbes competing, then they have in the back of their mind what you think about the world, and they're part of your world. And then everyone purposely dances around subject matters. They purposely do not talk about anything except for stupid shit like somebody else, or hell, I don't know. What do people talk about? I don't fucking know. Well, I do. I used to belong to so many different, talk about other people's situations, talk about the government. Well, that can only go so far if you have different beliefs. Talk about what? Getting drunk, getting high, what somebody did, what they did last year, what they did. There's no future thinking. There's always but the past or somebody else's situation. Or they're working on a project together. Like my husband, he hangs out with his guy friends. They work on boats. They go fishing. If you don't have that with people, if you don't have something like that where you're working on a project together about fishing or hunting, then what are you doing with them? If you're not working on a project together, then what are you doing? Hanging out, talking about somebody else, hanging out, getting drunk, and saying, oh, look that, oh, look that, oh, look this. I don't know. I haven't hung out with people that I feel that I'm on their level and they're on my level in a real honest, authentic way in years. My husband's probably the only one because we have contractual, a platform to work from. We have things to take care of. We're on the same wavelength on certain levels, and he goes and does what he does. I do what I do. But as far as outside of my marriage, I haven't hung out with someone on an honest, authentic level and actually had a real conversation. And that sucks. But it's not like it's bad. I mean, it just means that authenticity has to be on its own, or else to be under the influence and talk about the same shit everybody else talks about. Politics, religion, and science. I don't know. I'm just not cut out for the small talk. I'm not cut out for that shit. I try to, believe me. Sometimes I feel that having to smoke cigarettes and be under the influence is the only way I can actually relate to people. If you have to do that and you can't be yourself, then there's no point in hanging out with people. If relating to people means you have to be smoking cigarettes and being under the influence, because there's nothing that you could talk about with them that they would actually have any relationship with unless you're under the same level, under the influence. And that's a reality that I figured out, that I couldn't play the game. I couldn't pretend anymore. I can't. I tried. Let me tell you, I tried to be a drug addict and an alcoholic. I really tried. And I would go way overboard and would be in my own little hell from that. I can't anymore. I can't induce any more of that pain and suffering voluntarily to please other people. So then I'm like, there's no way to prove anything more. I'm not going to prove myself that I love you and respect you by sacrificing my body, mind, and spirit. So then I just say things on Facebook and whatever. Come what fucking may. Whatever. But there really is nothing out there for me anymore. There's my husband and us dealing with this old world, transitioning to the new world. There's his job people, their acquaintances, their neighbors, and we just do whatever we can to survive. I'm completely exhausted trying to fit in with the old world. And the old world is going down extremely fast. And it's brutal watching it. And so I finally came to terms with that. And it's difficult because you still have to find a way to still balance your current life while transitioning to the new life. Not everyone's going to understand it. And that's okay. There'll be no way you could take in new information because of that. Because people are taking away their ability to expand their horizons. They've taken away their ability to develop new neural pathways to make new connections. And so they will be in fear of the air, food, and water, and the government, and looping in old traumas and past indiscretions from other people, and then they will worship death and tell people they should die someday. So join your crowd, your group of friends, your tribe, so you can all die together a little at a time. That's the reality of all the friends and family. That was what the 1960s and Charles Manson and all the cult revolution, the porn industry, all the different Christian revival, everything. That was the kickoff to that side of it. Was getting everybody comfortable with depending upon each other. I mean, I even 10 years ago, 8, 9 years ago, 10 years ago, I was like, oh, who do I hang out with? I'm here in Ohio. I have no one to hang out with. Who wants to go on an activity with me? My husband's doing this. Who wants to go and take a bike ride? Who wants to go walk and go hike in the woods? Who wants to go out and go for coffee and hang out so I could feel like I'm a normal person who has some kind of social interaction with people? When you have to force yourself to act like other people so you can fit in, and in the meantime, destroy yourself in the process, fuck. That's a cycle. That's a war against yourself. That's a psychological operation. That's a suffering. So that's when I joined Toastmasters during that time. I went to Toastmasters. I'm like, okay, if I don't know anyone here, and I have no friends, and my husband, has friends through work or people he used to know here, and I'm here just like, away from California, away from all that, and who am I going to be friends with, right? So I'll just go to Toastmasters and meet people there. So I went to Toastmasters. And you meet religious people, you meet political people, you meet people who are in the old world. That wasn't the answer. Okay, go on Facebook, go find people in the activist group, and do this and that, for Trump, against Trump, for Biden, against Biden. It's so fucking exhausting. And then you're like, okay, well then I'll go hang out with a bunch of people here locally. I'll just go and hang out and go to parties. Go hang out every weekend, get drunk, play cards, go to concerts, go to football games, and do what? Oh, smoke pot or drink alcohol. And then get really drunk, get really stupid, have an experience, maybe get pulled over, go to jail for a minute, someone bails you out. You go home, you're like, oh, look, yeah, I was in jail. Oh, my God, I was this. And people laugh and guffaw about it. And then, I threw up everywhere. I threw up here. I threw up there. Oh, God, that was so crazy. Eventually, your body gives out from that. Eventually, all of that partying and trying to keep up with everyone, denying the reality that change is going to fucking kill you if you don't change the way you do shit. You get exhausted from all that. Well, I'm there. I'm fucking exhausted. Because I got to deal with the climate changing, fucking with everything that I already hold inside that I have to release. I have to make sure I have the food, to make sure that my husband understands where I'm coming from, because he's like, what the fuck is going on here? And, when you go into places that are high energy and you have to deal with that, you can't deal with anything else. You can't deal with people's bullshit. You really can't play those games anymore. I mean, you could, then you'll turn into someone who has cancer. You die suddenly. You will wear out your welcome in this world. So finally, where did I find the freedom? I left society. I fucking left almost everything. And I'm still honoring my contract with my husband. And I don't have a lot of material wants or needs. I've already traveled everywhere, lived on private island. I lived on tropical islands, did things, done things. I'm done. I'm fucking done. And I want to work my brain. I've proven to everyone that I can handle all the abuse to the body that I could without going off the deep end and getting crazy operations. Well, it's no more abuse to my body anymore. No more. No more drugs, no more alcohol, no more smoking cigarettes. No more trying to keep up with other people. No more spending astronomically, keeping things as simple as possible. No more feeling like I have to hang out with someone in order to feel accepted. No more trying to change other people. No more trying to ram this type of lifestyle. Now it's just representing. I don't care what you do. I don't care if you smoke pot. I don't care if you smoke pot to oblivion and you die in the process. I could care less, because what am I going to do? I can't fucking change you. That's your choice. Your choice. That's your choice. So I just sit here and I just represent. I just say what I say. You choose to read what you read. If you don't like what I wrote or what I've written, then block and delete me. I'm not forcing anything on anyone. I don't care what you do. But I do care that you get all the information so you can make an educated choice, an educated decision. Because really, education is lacking in people. Right now, ignorance is like in everything at this point. People choose to actively be ignorant. That's fine. But I like discovering things that I never knew before. I like learning new things. I like making the connections. I like putting things together. I like expressing myself. Because if I didn't have the words, I'd be punching people out. I would be doing harm to myself if I didn't have the words to say. I'd be going and trolling people and saying that they're stupid if I didn't have the words to say and the education and the research behind me. I would think it's somebody else's fault. I would try to silence somebody else. I would say that they're stupid, that I would hold their past mistakes against them forever and tell them that they're stupid forever. That's what someone who doesn't have the words to express, who doesn't have the knowledge behind them, that's what they would do. They would either do self-harm or they go and be on the offensive and intend to harm somebody else. And that's what I'm trying to convey, is when people are actively ignorant in body, mind, and spirit, and they choose to be ignorant of the knowledge of the sciences, that is the magic behind everything that you come to know, then people go on the offensive, and they choose to be ignorant, and then they choose to go and destroy because they think it's somebody else's fault. They don't realize that they're the ones that have caused all the harm to their own bodies. But when you finally realize that the sciences are what's behind everything, then you can learn how to use the sciences to your benefit. And that's the thing, is ignorance equals religion. Ignorance equals spirituality. Ignorance equals doing self-harm and blaming somebody else. Ignorance needs friends and family. Ignorance depends on somebody else 100%, if not maybe 90%. Now, me being married, I'm in a contractual relationship of survival. Would you think I'm ignorant being around my husband? No. He has his own space. I have my space. We have, what do you call it, division of labor. We made our choices. I learned things. I don't assume he'll be around forever. He can't assume I'll be around forever. So we learn the things that they know as much as we can and realize that our limitations, and then figure out when we need to bring in a professional to do something. And that's pretty much it. People live alone and they don't have any kids. They can barter. I like how guys do that. They barter their services. You know, when someone helps somebody with doing wood and then they need help with lifting a couch, fucking A, great. That's what men do. They barter. I think that's great. They don't overstep. They help each other. If that's what they want to do, okay. If I don't have anything that I need to get done that's lifting something, I don't need to barter with anyone. But you know how men are. They like their shit, or they need to move something and whatever. Maybe they don't have the money, but they use their brawn to help somebody with something. Okay, bartering is great. Okay? And that's a respect. You don't expect people to help you all the time because they're your friend. But that's the thing. Oh yeah, well then they give this and they do that. Oh, okay. That's why I don't really want to need people, because I know that when you do need someone, the return on that investment, you don't realize what kind of contract you sign with people when you accept so much help from everyone. That's a hefty return on the investment that you may not survive. And so freedom is relative self-sufficiency. Freedom is when you really don't need anyone. except for your government and the rules and laws of your society. Freedom is not taking care of an animal. Freedom is not taking care of children. Freedom is not taking care of friends and family who are desperate for your company, desperate for your money, desperate for your entertainment. Freedom is entertaining yourself. Freedom is learning on your own. Freedom is knowing how to get access to resources without compromising somebody else or sacrificing somebody else. Freedom is being on your own. When I was home during those PMDD days, and I'm sitting in my apartment, and I had a few sick days that I can expend, okay, and no one's around me, and my phone's off, or my phone's somewhere else, who the fuck knows? I'm just sitting there watching a Netflix movie, eating my yummy takeout food. Those were delicious moments of silence, of freedom, a tiny vacation. And then let's go back to the slavery system of hanging out with people, feeling the need to hang out with people, having to prove your friendship. I mean, I learned that whole thing with the friendship shit back when I was 20, 19, 20, 21. An old friend from when I was working at Lucky's grocery store in Sunnyvale. And her sister was a bookkeeper and at the Lucky's. And then I hung out with them. And it was a big, huge Hispanic family. And I hung out with her all the time. I was going through, my own shit at 19 or 20. And so I'd hang out and go to all the different, mariachi, hang out with a bunch of Hispanic and all the people. The dad was the godfather. He was literally like the godfather. It was like a godfather type of situation. I was like, wow. And I wasn't making a lot of money. I was still struggling, and she was, and she's making good money. And so she bought me a robe from Victoria's Secret. And on her birthday, I bought her a candle. She was so pissed off, so incensed. I bought her a candle for her birthday. I didn't buy her a $50 robe from Victoria's Secret. That was when the friendship ended. Because that's what friendship is how much can you do for me? How much can you buy for me? What will you do for me today? That's when I knew friendships were expensive, a lot of expectation. They weren't real. As soon as you stop proving your worth to them, they peck you to fucking death or tell you you're stupid. And that's what happens with families that have children. You get invited to their birthday parties. Oh, you didn't buy something. You didn't do something. You didn't prove your worth. You didn't come to this birthday party for my kid or for me or for this. So you're not a friend. And then people will go broke for Christmas, for birthday parties, for holidays. I didn't do it with my mother. I bought her so much stuff. And she said, stop buying me shit. Because I kept trying to prove my worth as a young adult. That she's my mother. And I'm so sorry I put her through so much hell as a kid. So I was buying her a bunch of shit. She's like, stop it. Stop buying me this stuff. I don't need this stuff. And so she ended that, and that was fucking awesome. Because you get caught in that cycle of having to prove your worth as a daughter, as a son, as a mother, as a father, a sister, brother, as a friend. And then people give their body, they give up their life for their friends and family. And their friends and family will keep taking and taking and taking. And then when you die, they'll keep taking from you. They'll take your watch. They'll take everything that you own, if possible. That's when I knew that it was time to end. That's why I used to have a best friend, not anymore. I'm done. I don't have best friends. I don't want any friends. I want acquaintances that I can jockey back and forth with, but I don't want friends. Because it becomes then the devil's contract. You signed your life away for those people, for that person. That's in religions. That's in, even in the sciences and academia. When you go and work for a company, you sign your life away until you figure out how much you really need to live on. Then you negotiate how much you're willing to work so they don't fucking fire you for not producing as much as they want you to. You negotiate how much you're willing to produce for them so they don't fucking work you to death. You have to be the one to save yourself so someone doesn't keep taking from you and then end up taking everything from you and then still take some from you when you die, when you're dead. So yeah, I'm done with the devil's contract with politics, with religion, with the sciences, with the family, with the friends, with the group think. That's the devil's contract. When you have put yourself in a slavery situation such as expectation and having to prove your worth. And then when you're that deficient, that's what happens when people are deficient. When they're that deficient, then they have to go and pay homage because they need their friends to do something for them, to be there for them when they're sick or when they're this and they're that. Well, there's a price to pay for that. And so when you finally become relatively self-sufficient and you walk away from that, people will find every way to bring you back. That's in the medical holistic system. That's in the religions out there. That's in all the people that were against the J world. They were trying to bring me back into taking away my pain and suffering. They were trying to take me back to the cult of the belief that you should never feel pain. The death cult. So, yeah, when you finally walk away from all that and you don't need people anymore, that's like when women leave relationships that the husband or wife is so dependent. Men or women leaving domestic violence relationships. When the woman leaves, when the man leaves, that's the most dangerous of all. Because that person lost control over you. They lost control over you, your husband and wife, your finances, what you do in your free time. They lost control of them being the person to call every single time they have a fucking problem or an issue. When you finally leave the cult of friends and family and relationship, that's the most dangerous of all. And sometimes it might take a major event for people to see why it is that you're like, dude, we shouldn't be in this relationship with somebody or something. Sometimes things have to happen that are so fucked up that there's no denying it. Who wants to go there? But sometimes it goes there. Sometimes it takes people to die out there for people to see what the fuck's going on. Sometimes it takes a crazy event in relationships so people can see why they couldn't be in that relationship with a person, place, or thing. Because they saw the writing on the wall. And people are in denial. Like, oh no, that's okay. No, it's not okay. So the fact that I left home, the fact that I left California speaks to my ability to survive. I didn't go and hit back at anyone. I didn't go and try to take anyone down that I thought did anything to me. I just kept moving on. I kept evolving. I didn't stay stuck and fucked in any situation out there. I just kept moving and kept taking care of myself and kept improving myself and recognizing the patterns and indicators and getting the fuck out, even if it could have meant my relationship with my husband. Sometimes you have to risk everything to save yourself. And that's what it's going to take for people to survive this transition from the old world to the new world. I'm not going to read this shit like I did that. Because this is really from the heart. This is what I've been dealing with for the last 20 fucking years. Was leaving the cult of family and friends and feeling the need to be a part of things, to feeling the need to depend on someone because of the deficiencies that I held within. Once I did not become deficient and I fulfilled everything that was lacking, then I didn't have to take the abuse from people. I didn't have to take the weird sidelong glances. I didn't have to take the mocking. I walked the fuck away. I didn't have to take the weird stares and, oh God, you're poor you. I walked the fuck away. Because I did that when I was a teenager. And that was the intention. My mother did exactly what she needed to do. She had to train me to know when to walk away when things got that bad. And it wasn't like bad like what you hear in, criminal cases of what parents do to their kids. It was situations that psychologically, which is a good thing, mess with you that you have to leave. And sometimes corporal punishment, stuff like that, whatever, okay. But that's not very different than anybody else. But when you finally can't take whatever it is anymore, and you don't strike back, you don't hit back, you don't murder anyone, you don't hit anyone in retaliation, you just walk away, that shows that you will not hurt somebody and be in retaliation against somebody. That people can actually abuse you and you'll take the fucking abuse, but you'll never hit them back. But the only way you're going to survive that is if you walk away, not hit back, because then you start a war that then you may not survive. And that was the lesson as a teenager, is when you can walk away from whatever war that you're in. Even if it was not your fault. It wasn't really your war. It was a war perpetrated on you for whatever reason. But the fact that you can walk away from that war and not hit back and not harm someone, not retaliate to the point of destruction, you will be able to survive. It doesn't mean you won't get any wars. Absolutely, you won't. You'll get into wars, but if you can walk away from them and not kill someone in the process and not hurt someone in the process, fucking A. You are the ultimate citizen that society wants, where there are things that happen out there and you won't hurt somebody because of that. You won't justify murdering someone because of what someone did or did not do. You won't justify hitting somebody or shooting somebody. You'll just walk away and you'll block and delete and you won't even look at it anymore. It's done. When you can do that and you can walk away from abuse, walk away from those who mean to suck the life out of you, when you can walk away from anything, you have it fucking made. And you can start over again, you have it fucking made. It's when those that stay in relationships that are fucked up and abusive, and they feel trapped, and they're getting sucked dry by everyone around them, and they still stay in it, they don't leave it, that they still stay in it, then one day they snap. That's where you get all the murders and homicides from. And the family annihilator like Chris Watts, someone like a Jodi Arias who snapped because she didn't get what she wanted. She thought she had the intelligence and the sexuality to trap a traditional man like a Mormon, and that was not enough. She couldn't just walk away from that. No, she had to teach him a lesson. You don't do that. So that's the lesson that I've learned. Is that you'll get yourself in situations, but the power is walking away. Cutting your losses, walking away. You don't force a square peg in a round hole. They don't make enemies out of them. You don't call them out. But I'm telling you, there's so many people in the past that all were cloned together. They had the same issues: friends, family, expectation, drugs, alcohol, sex, and whatever else, and infidelity. I mean, that's just the same. It's Shakespearean. It's in every fucking group out there. So are you willing to keep entertaining that, or are you willing to walk away? And finally, when you walk away, you're not entertaining all that Shakespearean crap. Oh my God, you're free. Just don't enslave yourself again, but you have to keep maintaining your resources so you're not deficient, having to depend upon someone to keep you alive. And you keep learning new things and discovering new things, improving your skills. Giving people the option, but you don't ram anything down their throat. You don't ram religion down their throat. You don't make them wrong for whatever. You just keep representing someone who keeps improving themselves and showing that you don't need people to entertain you. That you're not willing to harm yourself with drugs or alcohol or crazy sex or people abusing you or sucking the life out of you. Or having to be out there knowing that it's pretty dangerous out there with all these unpredictable people who are getting triggered and snapping left and right. So, yeah. So I wrote what I wrote on my Facebook, and I still stand by it, of course. I'm not going to go through each detail. I figured I just come from the heart versus reading like a fucking robot. But sometimes that's necessary so I can get it embedded into my soul, and I can hear things, I can write things, I can feel things. And sometimes that's what it takes to learn shit. It's just to read it like a fucking robot. And one day you'll be able to speak from the heart, and you'll be able to draw from your experiences in the past, and it'll talk about it without it turning you into some wilted, traumatized, crying person. And you go to see why you've chosen whatever path you've chosen. And you can face it. And people will be able to relate to it because we're all been cloned. We've all been given politics, religion, science with the same archetypes, dressed up as different stories. And so someone's going to relate to you in some way. Even though they may have different words for what you're saying, they'll relate to you. And some will stay stuck in their politics, religion, science and be abused by everyone around them and have their life sucked out of them. And others will find a way to walk away without completely destroying everything behind them. And sometimes you have to walk away. If a mother chooses to have a baby and maybe the condom broke, maybe the birth control didn't work, who knows? But if a woman chooses to have a baby and the man walks away, why demonize the man? If she chose to have the baby. When you choose to have the baby, it means you're choosing to at least take care of it, at least 50%. If the man chooses to walk away, it's not his fault. He walks away. Yeah, he walks away. That's fine, but there's no guarantee. But legally, yeah, he's responsible if they can get him to do stuff, to pay for it. Fine. But that's the thing. When a man and a woman get together, they both have responsibility, but the woman still chooses. She chooses to bring that kind of situation into her world. She chooses to weaponize that child against the dad that left. I'm not saying it's not 100% the man's, I'm not saying he's responsible, that he's not responsible. Of course, he is. He wanted to go through that process. There's no guarantee that the condom would be 100% or her birth control would work or who knows what. But if a woman chooses to have a baby, she's choosing now the next 18 plus years, plus then having to go chase the child support, plus then going to have to go through all that mess. She chose that. So whatever happens with that husband or not, or with that baby daddy or not, that was the road she chose to go down, having that baby. And she's bringing more suffering. And so if you're going to have sex, and then there's a child involved, that's why when you release those demons of crazy ass sexual urges, you start thinking, should I be having this sex? Because it might turn into a baby, and then people's religions then force them to have it, or they feel compelled to because of whatever. Now they just entered a world of suffering. And that's why I said, once you get rid of the breeders out there, and that includes all the kennel breeders that sell animals and traffic animals, and the exotic animal trade, as well as all the puppy mills and the cat mills and whatever else, and you get rid of all the breeders and arrest them, right? Like, that's not going to happen. It's not. But anyways, and that includes people that just have babies without really thinking because they think it's a thing to do, you'll see less suffering. You will see less suffering and less need to kill things. But the fact we have bred so many children, so many animals that are deficient and they're on the offensive. Yeah, constant fertility and constant reproduction is actual annihilation of the human genome as well as the animal genome. That's why the system is doing what it's doing, because of all the fucking suffering that's involved with breeding animals and children that are also then forced to be intolerant because the parents can't tolerate any pain and suffering or any change. They can't handle evolution. Their religion tells them not to have any evolution. And so they're forced to be around a bunch of people. They're forced to be dependent. They're forced to have their life sucked out of them. Then there's a suffering. And then if you don't believe in what they believe in, then they slam you with all the scripture. They slam you with being a non-believer. They slam you with They slam you for being a change agent, for introducing a new thought process that they've chosen to read. It's not like I'm going to their house and knocking on their door and saying, hey, here, read this. Religions have done that. They've knocked on people's doors and crossed boundaries and forced people to listen to them or at least defend themselves. When you're knocking on people's doors, when you're going into people's faces and saying this, and that, when you're going onto their Facebook and disputing their information, you're like somebody knocking on someone's door and telling them to read this, this, and this because you need to save them from whatever. Those days are pretty much over with. Thank God for the fucking pandemic. I don't ever answer my door. I don't ever answer my phone. I don't answer really anyone. I barely even answer emails, if that. I'm not going to be proselytized to. I'm not going to have someone force their politics, religion, and science down my throat. I'm not going to do it. I'm done with the suffering. I'm done with being forced to change for somebody else. So that's why I stay on my Facebook. So if you read my information, you've chosen it, that's fine. If you suffer, fine. Then block and delete me. But it's not your job to silence me. That's the government's job to silence me if I'm actually that deadly. If I'm not crossing boundaries and forcing you to hear my shit and I'm not disparaging you on your Facebook or even to you specifically. If I'm just questioning the industries, questioning politics, religion, science in more of a general than specific, that's perfectly fucking appropriate. And that's how we all should do stuff. So that way we can get our information out there without insulting people, specifically to their face. If they see that you're talking about them in an indirect way and they choose to entertain your information, that's their choice. They can always, again, block and delete you. But, oh gosh, you shouldn't say this. Who the fuck are you? You're not God. If you have an issue with any information out there, then go and be articulate, use your words, and express yourself and defend your position, whatever it is. Maybe if you hear yourself, you might actually take the other point of view and understand why people say what they say and feel what they feel. So, that's it. I'm hungry. I'm going to eat some food. But that's all I got to say right now. But I have finally freed myself from the emotional, addictive entanglements that were forced on me as a child, that were forced on me in society, that was forced on me through the need to fit in and be liked. No, I don't need to be liked. I don't need women out there. I don't need men out there. I love my husband. I respect him. I'm in a contractual relationship with him. Yes, there is emotional entanglements with that. Okay, that was what I agreed to, and that's fine. I can handle it. But I cannot handle any more emotional entanglements out there with people I'm not in contract with. And just because you're a friend out there doesn't mean that I owe you anything. And you don't owe me anything either. If we're on Facebook and we're going back and forth exchanging words, that's currency. That's currency conversion. But I don't tax anyone. They don't tax me. We're good. We're fucking good. All right, bye.